I believe we are about to create the last wave before the real Bitcoin bear market is starting. And on today's update video, I'm going to be exactly explain why I think this is going to be the last wave. I'm going to be talking about the imminent short term, what is currently happening over there on Bitcoin. I am taking a massive trade right now on Bitcoin because I do think that on the imminent short term, we are about to get a small little breakdown before an absolutely explosive move towards the upside, which will result in the final leg towards the upside. I'm going to be exactly break down why I think this is going to be happening. I'm going to talk about all of that and many more important breaking news stories about what is happening on the bigger perspective, what is happening on Ethereum right now, and much more important data. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap up that like button back above 1,000 likes. That will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the imminent short term on Bitcoin. So yes, over the course of this weekend, we created once again a new CME gap, this time around 96.9k. And of course, like I said in many previous occasions, usually within the following 48 hours, we tend to fill it up. But we had some previous occasions as well where it takes even till Friday when we're going to be filling it up here. So still the consensus is that eventually we're going to be filling up the CME gap, but maybe it is going to be taking a little bit longer. Bitcoin, of course, moved towards the downside after it broke below this very important level of previous resistance, then flipped into support. But of course, whenever we broke below it, it resulted in Bitcoin having another dump towards the downside. And now on the imminent short term, I am looking at an ascending triangle, and I am now looking at an ascending broadening wedge. And I discussed this also in yesterday's video, but an ascending broadening wedge is a pattern that gets created after a rally towards the upside and then consolidates, and usually this is a bearish bias pattern. So that is why I am right now a little bit afraid that Bitcoin is going to be seeing an ever so slight breakdown. But please do not get fooled here, because on the next breakdown here, I am actually opening up major trades towards the upside. I'm opening up major long positions. Like you can see, I've got an order on $91,100 worth about 2.6 Bitcoin set up to, of course, catch that next leg towards the upside. At the same time, I'm still in my long positions on Pionex. But basically what I think is going to be happening, if we're going to be seeing a breakdown, I believe Bitcoin is going to come back towards this very important range that, like you can see over here, has been acting as major support for Bitcoin in the past. And if you're just really looking at Bitcoin on the bigger perspective, you can just easily see that this consolidation phase over here, whenever we broke below that support line, is whenever we went lower. And now this level, what previously also provided support, is the level where I want to be opening up my big long position on Bitcoin. And I mean, on the imminent short term, while I am looking at Bitcoin, I still remain to see the footing rates be quite negative. This is of course a great thing. I'm not going to do a deep dive because I've been doing so in the last recent videos already, but this is a very bullish thing for the market. Then on the imminent short term, there is some liquidity piling up above us and below us. Like I said, I think eventually we are going to be pushing higher. Maybe we're first going to be seeing that ever so slight breakdown to $91,000 before seeing that leg higher. But I really do think ultimately we're going to go higher, whether we're first going to go down and then go up, or we're already going to be bouncing off this point here. So it really depends on whether we're going to be breaking the support line right here. But if we break this support line, I think the next target for Bitcoin is going to be this level right here. Also basically where this rally towards the upside really got started. And if you extend this level as well, you can see it acted as major support in the past as well. So super excited for that here. And that is one of the reasons why I did open up a new trade on that exact level right there. And I think it does make a lot of sense. But of course, in the beginning of the video, I said that this is the last run before the real bear market is going to get started. And please hear me out on that one. I mean, I really think we are going to get one final wave here towards the upside before Bitcoin is really going to go in towards a multi-year bear market. And potentially we are already topped out. And of course, that would only be whenever Bitcoin is breaking below this level right here. Then potentially we are already topped out here. But of course, as long as we're not breaking below the support, I'm not going to be saying so. But the reason why I think this is going to be happening is because usually Bitcoin intends to create a triple bearish divergence. So far, we've seen a double bearish divergence. But if we create a triple one, it would be a big bearish sell signal actually in the market on the weekly time frame. It would indicate us, of course, okay, now we are losing strength. Besides that, my targets have always been 130 to 140k here. The reasons why here is, of course, most of the Bitcoin bull market peak indicators are going to be peak somewhere between $160,000 and $130,000. You can see it on this website. These are basically the 30 Bitcoin bull market peak indicators that have always been predicting the previous bull markets, that always have been predicting the bull market tops here. And so far, 0 out of 30 of these indicators are flashing right now, but of course they will start to get flashed whenever Bitcoin is going to be breaking above $130,000 approximately. So those are my targets along the way up here. I think that is a very great target to actually scale out of the market, because the risks will most certainly get way bigger. And of course, like I said, we will be creating a bearish divergence. And what my strategy at least is going to be here is to short a lot of altcoins that are overvalued. And I'm going to be making a lot of videos about how I'm going to be approaching this bear market. But for example, there are a lot of altcoins right now in this market that will get a lot of inflation. And for example, coins like Sui, which has got a fully diluted market cap 3 times as big as it is currently, it's probably going to get a lot of inflation in this bear market, and probably it's going to get wrecked here. So I'm going to be opening up many short positions. That is the way how I'm going to be making money in this bear market. But of course, as time is going to continue, as I think this is going to be the part of the cycle where I want to be doing so, obviously at that time we will start to make these videos. So make sure to subscribe to the channel right now as well here. But before diving deeper into towards even more important analysis, I quickly want to be discussing some news here, because yesterday's strategy, 1900 Bitcoin, which is extremely bullish. At the same time, more and more Tether is getting minted. And yes, BlackRock bought over $500 million worth of Bitcoin again here. And guys, don't get me wrong here. I don't think Bitcoin is going to top out right now here. Just like I said earlier, I do think the top is most likely going to be between $140,000 towards $160,000. And of course, from this point, that is still a major rally higher. So I do still think we're going to go higher on the short term. But on the short term, maybe we could see a slight little drop here. But on the medium term, I do still think we're going to go absolutely bananas for Bitcoin. And really, we're starting to see the ETF flow accelerating again here, and that is just a very great sign, which is probably going to be sending the prices much higher. Then I quickly want to be talking about what is currently happening with Ethereum, because Ethereum is, in my opinion, also at a very interesting range here. I mean, it is starting to create somewhat of a bottom formation, and really right now, literally happening tomorrow, we will get the biggest update of the year for Ethereum, which is going to be the Pectra upgrade for Ethereum, which will be upgrading staking blobs and account abstractions. And yeah, that is just ultimately very great for the adoption for Ethereum. And what is very great about Ethereum right now here is that retail adoption, or retail interest, I should say, is absolutely nowhere. No one is interested in Ethereum, and that ultimately is going to be sparking the next rally higher here. I mean, no one really cares about Ethereum. Well, it is creating very interesting fractals all the way back from 2020. It is about to create a bullish crossover on the stochastic RSI on the monthly time frame right now. It is sitting at a multi-year low in the market. It is extremely undervalued on the MVRVZ indicator, which is an under/overvalued metrics. And right now it is sitting at crucial levels of support, which is ultimately very great here. And what you can also see here is that the stablecoin market cap on Ethereum is increasing, and this ultimately shows you adoption, and that is where it is all about. The adoption is already higher than the top of 2021, and that just shows you that the possibilities for Ethereum are much higher than the point where we're currently sitting on here. So super excited what is happening over there here. Ultimately, I do believe it is going to go much higher than this point where we're currently sitting in. So yeah, this is it for me in today's update video. If you did enjoy it, learn something from this video, don't forget to slap on that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.